Hello everyone, we are working in Photoshop CS4 and today we're doing a brief tutorial on the functionality of Photoshop to do the same thing many different ways. Today we're going to cross-process or give a cross-processed look to a photograph that we have up on our screen, and we're going to do it three different ways. The first way would be the simplest, and I'll show you that first. We have this image up, we're going to unlock it by double-clicking the lock. Say OK, and let's duplicate that layer with Command J. We can turn off the background copy by clicking the eye icon, and the easiest way to do this is to make sure your top layer is active, and let's go up to Image, Adjustments, and down to Variations. Automatically we get the Variations dialog box up with our options. I start with midtone, so I have my midtone selected. I click once to activate our original, which is where we're starting from, and the cross-processed look has a little bit of yellow in it, it has a little bit of green, and it has a touch of cyan in it. And we know that because we've looked at many cross-processed pictures and they seem to have the same tonality. So let's start pushing this photo that way. I'm going to start by selecting more yellow and click once. This is where our current pick is now, which looks fine, starting to get there. And I'd like to maybe add some more cyan to that picture. Okay, so our current pick is right here. It's starting to look very cross-processed to me. The other thing we can do is add a touch more, let's say maybe a touch more green to it. So I'll click over here and add green. We're really cross-processed now. I think that's fine. I'm not going to bother with the shadows or the highlights, but you're welcome to do that. Just select OK, and it automatically takes the top layer and it transforms that variation into it. If that's too punchy for you, I'm going to hit Command minus to back out a little bit and use the space bar with my hand tool. If that's too punchy for you but you like the overall look of the colors, you can make an adjustment layer on top of that, which would mean you go down to the bottom here, the layers palette, click on create new fill or adjustment layer, go up to hue and saturation, and let's drop out that saturation slightly. Okay, great. That is one way of making a cross process. It's the easiest way. And you can dial in your saturation, your lightness, and you can play with these values. Let's start over and I'll show you the second way. So I'm going to drag these both to the trash by hitting Shift and highlighting them both, turn my background layer on again, hit Command J to make a duplicate. And the other way we can do this, which is also another easy way, is to go over to the preset palette over on the right. I keep mine underneath my swatches palette. And underneath the curves presets, if you toggle that little arrow open, you will see cross process. You can click once. It does it in one step. You'll notice it's a very different quality. You'll notice it's much more punchy, but it is in the realm of cross process. And it is doing it by using a curves adjustment that we can also do manually. But it's a quick fix to make something cross-processed. Again, if it's too punchy, you can make another adjustment layer above it, which will drop out some of these tones. So let's go down again like we did a moment ago to a new adjustment layer. Let's take the hue and saturation option, click once. It launches a hue and saturation layer. We can drop the saturation out, and we still have this kind of cross-processed look. If we're not happy with that, we can maybe add some more yellowing to it by dropping down and creating another fill layer called, let's pick out the one that is a photo filter, and let's click on the live color box here, activate color, and let's go over to the yellows. Use your slider and give me some more yellow out of that value. Right there, looks about right. Say OK. And your density slider here allows you to kind of increase that over the picture. If I slide it down, we don't see it at all. If I slide it up, we see a lot of it. So that looks fine to me. That you've created another version of a cross process using basically one preset and two other adjustments above it. Okay, and I'm going to make another video after this with a final way. Actually, we can add it on right now. I'm going to take my adjustment layers on the bottom, click once on the top while holding Shift. It will highlight all of them and drag them to the trash. We now have our background layer again. Our copy is ready to go, and this is our third method of making a cross process. We can do this very easily by dropping down to our adjustment layer, and we can select the color balance. We're going to push the color balance of the photo in a way that looks cross-processed. I have the mid-tone selected. It automatically starts that way as a default. I start moving my slider first on top into the cyans. I move my second value into the greens, because that's where cross-process kind of really starts to take hold, using a green value. And finally I come down to the yellows and push that into the picture as well. And if you'd like to, you can play with some of the shadows. Click on the shadows and we'll show you how that works. Now you're working in the shadows that are in the picture, and we can add maybe a little more yellow to it, maybe a touch more green as well. As you can see, we've arrived at this nice cross-process look. We can just click here in the lower panel. It's now activated. If it's again too punchy for your liking, you can go right in here and drop out the hue and the saturation of all the values by using your saturation slider. And again, you'll get another version of a cross process. So this video was a quick recap on 3 methods of doing a cross process. Remember, when you're in Photoshop, there's no wrong way to do something. In most cases, there are many ways to achieve the same look. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you watch again. Thank you so much for watching.